Hey, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I'm going to be revealing everything that you need to know about living in Carson City. If you're thinking about making a move there, I'm your girl. Reach out. I'm going to tell you how to do that at the end, so just stay with me. But for now, we're going to dive right on in. Here are some things that you should know if you're thinking about making the move to our lovely capital, Carson City. As I just mentioned, Carson City is the state capital. It is a common misconception that our capital is actually Las Vegas just because it's well known and big, but it's not. It's Carson City, the quaint, charming little town that has a whole lot of deep history. I'm gonna get into some of that next, so stay with me. Let's talk about the historical charm. A lot of the history and the architecture and so many of the buildings have just been so beautifully preserved in Carson City. You can visit a lot of them. Some of those are on my list, so I won't reveal that now, but it's just a really charming place to live and be. And in my opinion, it's kind of like the textbook definition of a small, quaint town. It's actually fairly large geographically speaking. There's a lot of places to go and a lot of kind of sprawl and areas to visit, a lot of nature sites. But as far as the downtown, it's really just one little strip. It's just like a little cute town with cute restaurants and some like artisanal boutiques and crafty things. I did mention the outdoor recreation and the abundant nature around. Carson is really ideally situated because it's about halfway between Reno and Lake Tahoe on the south side. You can just hop on Highway 50 right in Carson. In about 30 minutes, you would be in South Lake Tahoe. You could also take a turn off of the 50 onto the 28 and go visit Incline Village and the north shore of Lake Tahoe. So if you're somebody who really loves the city life, the hustle bustle, like everything Reno has to offer, but you don't want to be too far away from skiing, mountain biking, the lake, all of that, Carson would actually be a really ideal option for you because you're kind of in that sweet halfway spot. Speaking of some of the beautiful and beautifully preserved historical buildings, the Governor's Mansion is just amazing. It's in one of the nicer neighborhoods in Carson. It's on the really desirable west side of town, but they do all kinds of really cool events there. You can take a tour. In Halloween season, it's really cool. You can actually bring your kids and they do like a haunted mansion thing where they hand out candy and kids can kind of walk around and explore, but also learn some of the history of the building. So I highly recommend visiting that. Another great thing to do for families is to visit the Nevada State Museum. This is where you can learn a lot about the natural history as well as the cultural history and just like all the mining, all the things that have kind of taken place in our state capital and how it came to be the capital. You can learn all that in the museum, so go check that out. Another cool thing about Carson City is its proximity to Virginia City. You're actually pretty equidistant when in Carson to both Reno and Virginia City. If you don't know about Virginia City, it's worth Googling and looking. I'll just tell you though, it's this really cool preserved mining town. There's all kinds of saloons that really feel like the Wild West. There's also a ton of shopping and cool little boutiques that you can visit. And they have some historical hotels that are allegedly haunted, though I've never stayed in one, but you can actually go and spend the night there. So if you've done that, I want to know. Will you let me know in the comments below? Have you guys ever slept in one of the Virginia City hotels? I know there's the Silver Queen and a few others, but they're allegedly haunted. I want to hear your ghost stories. All right, if you're thinking about making a move to Carson City or anywhere else in the Northern Nevada market, I'm your girl. I've actually lived in many of the places here, including Carson. I lived there for about 3 years, so I can give you anything you want to know. Just reach out to me. You can also book a free call with me to devise your next and best steps, make a plan and a strategy for your real estate move. It's no obligation, totally free. There's a link to do that in the show notes below, and it's at your convenience. You have a link to my calendar, so go ahead and book that. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button. I put out new videos every single week about the Northern Nevada housing market, the Reno Sparks lifestyle, and of course, all things to do with buying and selling real estate. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you next week.